Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Nature Art, and today we are heading back in to the Case for Nature, this rather mammoth altered book I've been working on over the last couple of months, I think. So you'll be pleased to know I have actually finished the first section inside this altered book. So this is what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be finishing off some of the bits inside and creating this lovely cover here. And if you are part of the companion course, I'm going to give you a little sneaky peek of what we're going to be doing. Hold on. We are going to be doing some ephemera making. So if you're part of the companion course, head on over there after this video and you'll be able to watch some real-time ephemera making with the digital kit that comes as part of the course. So for now, let's get started on the Case for Nature, and we'll look at some updates along the way. Okay, so let's dive straight in. I've already kind of put some tea dye paper on some of these pages, but I want to focus on this one first. And I really like this Tim Holtz bit here with all the different colours on. It kind of makes me think of all the colours of nature. But before I can put this down, I need to stick this section in. This is a section we made a couple of episodes ago. So I'm just using some double-sided tape and some high-tack glue just to be able to stick this flap onto the main part of this section. So I like working in separate sections and then adding everything together. It just gives me that confidence that I can restart something if I need to. Making sure that I don't stick this bit down yet because I have plans that involve needing to put something here first. So leaving little notes to myself. So I am going to cut this. It's the greens section that I want really, because this is the bit that, you know, all the different beautiful greens in nature. So I'm just going to cut this down to a little tuck spot to sit at the side of the page there, because we can't put too much more in this side of the journal because we've already put so much in. So I want to keep this as flat as possible, but with a little bit more interaction. So bit of tea dye paper, little tuck spot. So it's just that little bit more than just a flat journal page. So just going to stick this bit down. Pop some glue on the top, bottom and the long edge, keeping that front edge completely open where I've put the notch so that we can create that lovely little tuck spot. So time for a bit of fussy cutting and collage. My favourite part of the whole process is when everything all starts to come together. I love that collage means that we don't have to be good at drawing to be able to make something look pretty. So I have just been going through some of my favourite nature books. You know, these are all books that I get from the charity shop. Usually cost a couple of pounds, and you know, there are a lot of books from sort of like the 70s and 80s, so there's nothing kind of special about them other than they are full of these beautiful illustrations. So that's where I get most of my images from, but there are lots of really good digitals out there that you can go and download. Head over to Etsy and type in botanical vintage digitals and you'll get loads. Also the digitals that I'm using here, like these little labels, we've got some Tracy Fox vintage nature ones, I've got some Tracy Fox number strips and some curator snippets from Tim Holtz as well. Now I wanted to just reinforce this spine, the inside of this spine here, so I've literally just taken a piece of craft cardstock and covered it with that same lovely handmade paper that we've got on the outside as well, so that it matches. So if you are one of the, let me take a breath, 1,500 new subscribers that joined me after the last video, welcome. You have joined us halfway through this series, so here's a little sneaky peek of where we've got to so far. Now it's time for us to do this front, and as you'll see, I have history of putting things on upside down, so I always like to make sure I leave myself a little note. So I have an idea. I want to create a little window pocket. I want to be able to see that Tim Holtz backdrop paper shining through. So I have cut a piece of the digital kit. So this is a scan of the front of the book. And I have cut it bigger than I need, so that you can see here I have scored around 3 edges to create like a little mini gusset, so that we can attach this to the page and create a pocket. But I want a window pocket, so I'm also going to need to cut out some of that in the middle as well. So I am kind of trying to line up the size I want my pocket to be. So it's always easier to draw on the back so that you don't have to rub all these lines off, because look how many times I changed my mind. So now I've got the window the size I want it to, I can cut that out with my scalpel and my steel rule. And don't throw this little bit away, because that can be a tag. So just folding in those little bits there that I've scored, so you can see that we can attach that to the page. I want to put a little notch in the top with my punch there. You can kind of see how this is going to start looking now. So a little bit of inking to get rid of all that white edging there. And this is some tea dyed tracing paper. So I love the way that tracing paper kind of wrinkles up when you dye it. So you get all these wonderful kind of marks. So I'm just going to trim that down, pop a little bit of glue around the edge of the window. Don't worry, tracing paper will wrinkle when it first hits the glue, but it will straighten out pretty quickly. So I want to do a bit of stamping on this as well. So I've just sort of brought back in that bit of card that we cut out and turned it over, so we can make sure I don't get the stamping on the tracing paper as well, because that won't dry. So just doing some partial stamping, just to add a bit of extra detail and texture to that. I mean, there's a lot of texture on that already, but it's just those extra little bits, isn't it? And then I'm using some double-sided tape on those little flaps that I've created there. Just giving that a good burnish. And here we go. This is how it's going to attach to the page. So we can peel off these bits of double-sided backing tape now, and I'm just adding a little bit of extra high-tack glue to it so that we can wiggle it around before it sticks in place. If we just use the tape, it'll stick immediately. So this just means as I stick this down, I can just bring my ruler in and make sure that it is straight. Now I'm happy with that, I can give it a good push. And I also have this extra bit of backdrop paper left that I thought we could make a tag with. I get like these are the colours that are in my garden at the moment. Lots of this kind of blue forget-me-nots and things like that. So, so I wanted to kind of bring that element in as well. Just giving it a little bit of ink, just so it blends in with the rest of the project. And I have been busy fussy cutting, getting us ready to do some collage to really bring that pocket to life. So I'm just going to leave you in peace and quiet whilst I put this together. Yay, I am so pleased with how that is looking. But before I stick it down, remember I wrote on there, don't stick this down yet, because I wanted to put a tie on so that this whole section kind of gets tied together so it doesn't flip and flap about as we're working with our journal. So a little bit of double-sided tape in the center on the front side and on this back side so that we can create that tie. So just attaching my bit of ribbon there, and again just taking the backing off that double-sided tape, which is a real fiddle, and adding that second bit of ribbon there. Now I can stick the front cover onto this section, always making sure it's the right way up. And just giving it a gentle dab and just unfolding it so I can get right flat onto the work surface and give it a really good rub. The scrap piece of paper here is brilliant for that because it means I can rub really hard and make sure it's properly stuck. Just trimming off any little extra bits that are overhanging from my collage, popping the tag in and being able to do this tie up. Super pleased with that. I love it. So let's see what it looks like in the book. I'm not going to stick it in quite yet, just until I'm ready to put both sides in. But here we go. So we undo the tie and we open this up. And this is what we've been doing so far. We've done so much work. We've got our little tag holder here and these teeny tiny tags in our little vellum pockets. Then this section here still needs some decoration obviously, but we have our document holder here, all these bits and pieces in. I'm going to come back on those blank pages that I've just lined with tea dye and do a bit more collage on them. I love this little pocket here where you can just keep adding more bits in. Another blank page ready for some decorating, and then we've got these lovely file folders here which we are going to stuff full of ephemera. So if you're part of the companion course, if you're not part of the companion course, head over to the website and you'll be able to get all of the downloads from the previous episodes, and you'll be able to see the extra video that's being downloaded today. Over here on this side, we have the flaps up and down. Again, look at all this space ready for decorating. This definitely needs decorating. This feels a little bit plain now in comparison to everything else that we've done. But we've got loads of space here, look, to add more, not just journaling, but collage and decorating, whatever we want. I love, do you know what? I keep saying, oh, I love this. This is my favourite bit, but I think they all are. I love this document wallet here with these extra notebooks in. And at this point you think that's it, but it's not. There's more. I just can't help putting in more flips and flaps and extra little spaces. Here we go. I love these two journal pages. So we can see how some of the decorating is going to happen on some of the other pages as well. So it has taken us a long time, but we have got there. This first side of this Altered Lapbook journal is now complete. We can tie that up and put that to the side and focus on the left hand side. We've still got a whole journey to do over here. I'm so looking forward to this. So I will see you back here for the next episode of The Case for Nature. I may well see you over in the companion course, or I might see you in the Creative Journaling Club, which has its first live online meeting on the 31st of May. Happy creating.